We're just about a week from the football season starting properly, and every player is now under pressure to deliver again. Their season starts, and by maybe June next year, the season is going to be over again. And by then, we have to now assess fully the performance of every single player. But some players are under more pressure than some, and some players are being afforded time maybe because of past performances, because of past wins, all this kind of stuff. While some players have had a couple of down years now and they cannot afford to have another one, even though their stock is completely done. And today we are gonna look at the 10 players that are under the most pressure to perform this season. Number 10, we're starting with Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, his individual performances over his entire career has been nothing short of all-timer level. This is an all-timer already. If he retires today, he's going to retire as one of the greatest footballers to ever play this sport. That's just it. Top 30, top 40, whatever it is, but he's one of the greatest footballers to ever play the sport. But then again, the last 2 years have not been really good for Mbappe. Even the last 3 years, or I would say the last 4 years. Starting from the whole Real Madrid debacle in 2022, then obviously he went to the World Cup, almost won it, but lost on penalty shootout in the World Cup. Came back, they lost in the Champions League. Okay, Messi and Neymar left. It is now your team. They recruited his friends, his French friends, Mbappe, Dembele, Barcola, and the rest came in. You know, and that was even the beginning of their new style of recruitment, when they binned off Messi, binned off Neymar, binned off Ramos. And they got to the semi-final of Champions League that year. Mbappe scored a lot of goals as usual, but he didn't win it. And he didn't renew his contract. He went to Real Madrid. And now, PSG in his first season without Mbappe won the treble. And what did Mbappe do in Real Madrid? He got dunked on by Lamine and friends. When he went to Real Madrid, they were the defending European champions. They had won 2 Champions League in 3 years, and this was a new generation of Real Madrid just winning relentlessly. He was going to be the final piece of the puzzle to start a dynasty. And what happened? Yamal rose from the other side of Spain in Catalonia, and now Barca are back-to-back La Liga winners. Real Madrid going trophyless back-to-back since the signing of Mbappe, despite him scoring about 100 goals for Real Madrid already. So on an individual level, he has done well. But then on a collective, you know, his former team went ahead to do back-to-back in the Champions League. His best friend, one of his best friends, Dembele, who they came up the youth rounds together, stayed in PSG, made PSG his own team, and now has won back-to-back Champions Leagues. And Mbappe over there in Spain, a new kid on the block, Lamine Yamal, has made the team win back-to-back La Liga titles. And Mbappe has gone on with nothing. Went to the World Cup, it was absolutely incredible throughout the World Cup, but then he bowed out to Lamine and friends again. And now Mbappe is going to this season, even that interview last week or during the week, and he says they have to win this season. They have to win. Real Madrid cannot afford to go 3 straight seasons without a major trophy. They simply cannot afford to do that. And most importantly, Kylian Mbappe cannot afford to go 3 straight seasons without a major trophy. He can score 50 goals for all he likes, but is his goals finally going to lead to something for Real Madrid? Well, wait to find out, and he's under immense pressure. The 9th on the list is Ferran Torres. Now, Ferran Torres' career has consisted of being hated in Barca for being a serial BCM bandit, and then proceeded to score the winner in the World Cup final for Spain. And since that World Cup final, my man has been on a media run. Man has stayed in the US doing tour like his prime Michael Jackson. Just going from university to university to NFL team to NBA team, giving lectures on how to play soccer and how to make it in the football game. And now he also saw himself as bigger than Barca. You know, he did that interview where he said, basically said, they need to prove that they want to keep me. And PSG came calling, and he ran away for PSG. And even today, he came out on the interview saying PSG is the place to be if you want to win Champions League. While it's all fun and games running your mouth like that after scoring the World Cup final winning goal, I'm happy for him, right? I'm very happy for him. He has been under a lot of criticism for most of his career. That moment was like a vindication moment for him on a personal note. Now he has to go and prove himself in France, both in the league and especially in the Champions League, where all his performances will be micro-analyzed by Barca fans, especially. Will he deliver like Dembele? We wait to see. But all I know is that Ferran Torres is under immense pressure to deliver, at least to win the Champions League. God, Ferran Torres cannot afford for Barca to win Champions League this year. Because if Barca wins Champions League this year, and PSG goes their first season in 3 seasons not winning Champions League, wow, it's dark for Ferran, man. I can't like it is dark for Ferran. Anyways, wait to see what happens with Ferran Torres. But yeah, he is number 9 in players with the most pressure on them this season. Number 8, we have Jamal Musiala. Now, Jamal Musiala is in the same set with them Jude Bellingham, with Palmer in a way. And all of them have had their real breakout season. And Jamal has had something similar. I mean, 2023 was a huge season for Jamal on an individual level. And that was the season where he won the league on the final day for Bayern Munich. And that has been the biggest moment of his career so far. But since then, 2024 season also really he was good. 24-25, he started the season very well. Midway through the season, he had some injuries. He came back during the Club World Cup and he broke his leg. Since then, he has not been the same. He came back around January, February. He wasn't really starting games, obviously. And from the way he plays in the Champions League knockout stage, in the World Cup, he plays scared. And that's understandable. I mean, his leg literally bent. But then again, this is a new season. He had a summer to regain himself mentally, especially because I feel like he's a mental block with Jamal right now. He's highly talented, one of my favorite players in the game. And I would love nothing but to see him soar to his potential levels. I mean, so many players have come and arguably already lapped him. And Jamal was lapping those guys 3 years ago. So Jamal really has to have a big season. Olise has come and kind of like yanked his chain from Bayern Munich fans, and they are already losing patience with Musiala because they've seen that, wow, we have you, Musiala, that's been our potential man. But then again, Olise has come, and Olise has shown us that potential can go to greatness. And now he has to have an Olise kind of season, essentially, which is crazy to say because Jamal was ahead of Olise by far a couple of years ago. So this is big season for Jamal. They bought Saibari. Gnabry was playing in 10 last season. Jamal will want to yank his chain in that number 10. And in the front line of Jamal at his best, Kane, Diaz, Olise, one of the most frightening attacks in Europe. But for that to happen, Jamal has to return to his best. So we wait to see on that front. Number 7, we have the Premier League record signing, one of the Premier League record signings in Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson continued this trend in the prem of central midfielders like CDMs going for 100 million plus. I'm not a fan of it at all. But then again, it's not my money. What can I do about it? Elliot Anderson has gone for 116 million after a bit of a negotiation battle between City and Nottingham Forest. They got their man, and now Anderson is meant to. When he was coming, he thought he was going to play alongside Rodri, offer legs that Rodri does not really have again, while Rodri offers control. Now it looks like Rodri is leaving, which means that now he's going to have more responsibility in that midfield even. And for 116 million, they should be getting just that. Man City should be going to every ground in England next season and bossing the midfield. There. That's the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum for Elliot Anderson. And he's under immense pressure to basically deliver that. The fee, he has to have a relationship with the players. He has to boss the midfield. He has no choice. He genuinely has no choice. Number 6, just ahead of him is his Manchester City and England teammate, Philip Walter Foden. This season is make or break for Foden. It's so crazy that I'm seeing massive potential lineups and I don't see Foden anywhere near it. Who would have thought? After that PFA Player of the Year season that he had a couple of years ago, Who would have thought that Phil Foden would be in a place where he is not even a guaranteed starter at City? Like, he is not a guaranteed starter at City. We don't even know his best position. Is he in the 10? Is he on SS? Is he on the right? Is he on the left? Is he in the 8? He has kind of stifled a bit. And like the moment he knew how to like basically bang in those goals in his zone 14, it's as if he forgot all his other footballing ability. He has terrible pauser. His rate of passing is awful. For a player of his caliber, he has really not developed as we thought he would. And now, he's in a situation whereby it is make or break for him. Man City are signing, they are pushing hard for Enzo Fernandez, about to wrap up the deal for Buadi, which means that in the midfield, there's almost no space for Foden. Offensively, they have Haaland versus not going to pay. Up front line, in the number 10, Czech is expected to start. And if Enzo comes in, Enzo can also play as a 10. Bad idea in my opinion, but it's Maresca, he can do whatever the hell he wants. On the left-hand side, they have, Doku. Right-hand side, they have Semenyo, they have Savinho, if he stays. Czech can also play on the left and on the right. They have Mamouche. Foden, you are in big trouble. You have to nail on a place. During the run in last season, Foden was barely playing. Barely playing. He was coming in like 8-something minutes if he came on at all. And this season is his make or break season for him. Or else it's over for him at the top level. At number 5, I have Alexander Isak. Now, Alexander Isak is the most expensive Premier League player of all time. Isak is the most expensive Premier League player of all time. And we have not seen anywhere close to, anywhere near, anywhere even quarter of that. Fine, the injuries messed him up. Partly his fault because nobody asked him to not train in the last preseason. Like, nobody asked him to not train during the preseason. But he didn't train at all and he came to the season unfit last season. Then a couple of injuries here and there. Ekitike was banging in goals and Ekitike basically like yanked his chain. But now, unfortunately for him, Ekitike is down with an injury, with an Achilles injury. We don't even know how Ekitike is going to be when he comes back from that injury. Isak now has to lead Liverpool. Salah is gone. He is meant to be the biggest output in Liverpool right now. He's meant to be getting Salah X number, especially in the goal front. 20 goals in the league minimum. Anything less than that is a bad season for Alexander Isak next season. And Liverpool have to become title contenders again. I know they might end up signing Barcola. We wait and see if that happens. But when they sign Barcola, they have vets, Isak, Barcola. I know they don't have the right winger, but that should be a title challenging team. And Isak is meant to spearhead that challenge. So he's under immense pressure next season to deliver. He will have to keep himself fit because nobody's going to hear the injury excuse again. He has to keep himself fit and he has to start firing from match day 1. The person just above him is Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer last season had a pubalgia reading injury this season. And even when he was playing, he wasn't anywhere near close to his best. Well, the streets has short memory, and Cole Palmer, however, has this season to prove that he's still at that elite level. They brought in one of his favorites, one of his best friends in Morgan Rogers. So that means that they have to form an elite partnership on the left and the right hand side, however they want to play it. If it's double 10s, it can be the 2 dual 10s. Very, very good. They have to form an elite partnership. Nobody wants to hear that. He wasn't selected for the World Cup due to his form in the season. And that was meant, him alongside Foden actually. And that meant that this summer was meant to be time for them to go back and just rejuvenate themselves mentally. Palmer cannot afford to have another season like last season. He genuinely cannot afford that. Chelsea cannot afford Palmer to have another season like last season. Chelsea will hoping that Palmer, Morgan Rogers, Joao Pedro, or Nicholas Jackson form an elite partnership up front and banging goals. Simple as that. And Palmer should be leading that. So wait to see what happens on that front. Number 3, we have Florian Wirtz. Now, Florian Wirtz, wow. Last season was a disaster. This was not even an injury thing. He just looked like an inferior player for most of last season. And for someone that was signed for the fee that he was signed for, the saga that was involved between City, Bayern, and Liverpool, he really disappointed. And the City's alternative, their second option, Cherki, leads up the Prem. Vert is in that situation right now where he has to deliver this season or it's over for him. He might go to Freiburg in 2 years, I'm telling you the truth. He has to show the ability that we know he has and that we know that he's in his locker. He has no choice but to show that he was okay in the World Cup. He has been in preseason so far, but he has to hit the ground running ASAP. ASAP. If not, it's over for this guy. Number 2, we have Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior had a saga with him this summer. There was a will he stay, will he not stay, will he go to Arsenal? And he took his time. He really did take his time. He believed that he deserved a far higher wage. Real Madrid increased their offer, he had to reduce the offer, and they met in the middle. But now he has to prove that all that drama that went up on his head was not for nothing. Last season, his form was not good. 2 seasons ago, his form was not good. Vinicius Junior cannot afford another season like last season and the season before that. He cannot afford that. Vinicius Junior knows what it's like to play under pressure. He plays for Brazil and Madrid. Arguably, the club and country with the most amount of pressure that is there to play for them. So he's no stranger to pressure. In fact, he likes pressure. But he has to love pressure. Because this season, it is make or break for Vinicius Junior at the elite level. In some people's eyes, Kvaratskhelia has already lapped him. We're not saying that a year ago. We're not saying that 2 years ago. Vinicius Junior, since that Ballon d'Or saga 2 years ago, has regressed in ways that makes no freaking sense whatsoever. And now Real Madrid have shown some faith in him by giving him a new contract and a bumper deal. He has to repay that faith back. And most importantly, those faith back and those performances have to lead to trophies. They have to. They genuinely have to. And number 1, I think this was like for me the biggest no-brainer in this list, is Yan Diomande. Now, if you cast your mind to the beginning of this summer, there were a lot of clubs on Yan Diomande's case. Liverpool made him their number 1 target to replace Salah. PSG made him their number 1 target. Man City made him their number 1 winger target. And at the time, during the World Cup or just before the World Cup, he chose to go to PSG. He agreed terms to go to PSG. Now, it was meant for club-to-club terms. And PSG and Leipzig could not agree a fee. Leipzig wanted 130. PSG did not want to pay that. And eventually, Real Madrid came into the race and signed the player for over 130 million. He is the most expensive player in their history. A player that is very, very raw with flaws that are very, very evident. Well, Real Madrid is unforgiving. And Real Madrid fans do not want to hear that you are just a raw player. For 130 million euros, you have to hit the ground running. You have to form a partnership with Vinicius and Mbappe soon. And Bellingham very, very soon. Ideally, it should be perfect. Vinicius, Mbappe, Diomande, Bellingham. You have to nail a starting spot. This is Real Madrid's first right wing buy since Gareth Bale in 2013. That's 13 years ago. And Bale in his first season was also the most expensive player in Real Madrid history and even in football history. Fine, you are not the most expensive player in football history, but you are the most expensive player in Real Madrid history, which means just one thing. You have to do what Bale did. You have to deliver the Champions League in your first season. Okay, maybe not Champions League, right? But then again, you have to deliver, and you will see what it means to play for Real Madrid as a starter for that enormous amount of fees in transfer fee. I know it's not your fault. I know it's not Diomande's fault, but nobody's going to hear that. Real Madrid fans will not want to hear that. And Yan Diomande, in my opinion, is the player with the most pressure to perform this season. Let me know what players you would like to add to this list. Let me know where you disagree and who do you think should be ranked higher or lower. Do you agree with my number one pick? And I'll see you next time.